Hello everybody, welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. Happy Friday, hope you're staying warm. It's quite cold here in central Ohio. I'm pleased with myself though because I got out and did my walk today. I've been kind of lazy about it this week, and I was determined I was getting out there today, and so I went out this morning. It was like only, I don't know, 25 degrees or so, and the wind was really blowing. And I was bundled up pretty good and felt warm, except for the only exposed area of my body, which was my face. But I survived, lived to tell, and the fresh air is always good, hot or cold. The family's getting together this weekend. Looking forward to celebrating Emily's 26th birthday. And of course, we'll be watching the Ohio State game tomorrow as well. A few reminders. I have just a few of my Perfect Pomegranate classes to go, option 1 left. I have a very limited number of the stamp sets, so therefore option 1 is limited to those numbers, and I have just a few left. Option 2 without the stamp set, and of course option 3, the PDF tutorial, always available. I also have a deadline coming up on Sunday for my Texture Chic Memories and More cards online class. And here's just a couple of the cards we'll be making. This is an online class. When you sign up, you will get from me a package of the Texture Chic card pack, the coordinating cards and envelopes, and you'll get a few extra pieces. You'll get an embellishment, the brushed, what are they called? Brushed brass dots. Brushed metallic dots, 3 colors. And I'll send that all to you with a link to participate in the online class on December 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It takes about 2 hours. We won't go over the 2 hours. Typically we never do with this type of class, but in that time frame, you're going to make 20 different cards along with me. It's easy, it's fun, it's a nice social time. So I hope you'll join me for that. And everybody that signs up for that will get the PDF tutorial with their purchase of the online class, and the PDF tutorial by itself is also available for purchase. Anybody who signs up and for some reason is not able to attend the online class by Zoom, it will be recorded and I will send it out to all the people who registered for that. But the deadline is coming up for the Texture Chic Cards online class. So you want to be sure and get signed up for that if you're interested. Both of these classes have complete information, pricing, etc. on my blog, stampinpeace.com, and I have also sent out emails if you're part of my email newsletter list. My final reminder is for Stampin' Up's seasonal sale. Today is the very last day. Today, November 18th, is the last day to get from the annual catalog 10% off all punches, 15% off all stamp sets, excluding the host stamp sets, 20% off all dies, 20% off all embossing folders, and 20% off all non-specialty designer series paper, okay? Any questions about that, just let me know, but please place your order today. If you miss today, you won't get the sale prices tomorrow. So this is sort of a pre-Black Friday seasonal sale that Stampin' Up is having. So I've already had several people take advantage of these wonderful sale prices, and I hope you will too. You can order online on my website, or you can contact me and I'll get the order placed for you. Today I'm showing a fun fold card that I learned at Onstage last weekend, and I'm using one of our January, February 2023 celebration sets. I figured I was already going to do this fun fold, but I decided why not show it to you with a sneak peek product. So I'm ready to get started on that. While I flip my camera around to my craft space, I would like you to please share this live video and invite others to join us for today's Fun Fold Friday demonstration. Just a little bit. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and show you the Fun Fold card first. This is it. Looks like an ordinary card until I open it up. Okay, the front is a different size. So let me show you right now how to make this. Wow, we have lots of people joining us today. Hi there, Tony, Lori. Hi, Joyce Letterby. I hope you're healing well. Hi, Jean and Vesta. Margarita. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Sandra and Kay. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this live video. All right. There are several pieces and parts. I will tell you what you need to create this, and when I post this to my blog in the next couple of days, I will have all the dimensions written out for you in there, along with the Stampin' Up! Products used. Please note that, as I said, I'm using a stamp set that is yet to be released. So the Beautifully Happy stamp set is one you can get free with a $100 order during celebration, which will take place January and February of 2023. So this is just a sneak peek. So you're going to need some pieces of cardstock. I've got one, and I'm using Mossy Meadow today. So one in 5.5 by 4 1/4, 5.5 by 4 1/4. The next one is 4 3/4 by 3.5. And then I have a strip that measures 1.5 inches by 4 1/4, and I've scored it at 1 1/4 inches. I'm just going to fold that over right now. I have 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. These measure 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Let me do this. 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and then 4.5 by 3 1/4. And then I'll also be using some Very Vanilla cardstock, 4 3/4 by 3.5. and 4.5 by 3 1/4. But again, like I said, when this gets posted to my blog and YouTube channel, I'll have this all written out for you. And then finally, a scrap of crumb cake cardstock. Because this is a photopolymer set, which means it's clear, it's see-through, I'm going, excuse me, I'm going to be stamping on my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm starting with the smaller piece of Very Vanilla, which measures 4.5 by 3 1/4. I'm going to stamp this large floral image. It's an outline stamp, and I'm stamping it in crumb cake. Today I'm using fall colors. Here's my color scheme, my Crumb Cake, Mossy Meadow, Cajun Craze, Mango Melody, and Early Espresso. But this stamp set would be fabulous for any color cards for any time of year. Next, I'm going to fill in those leaves, and I'm stamping with the Mossy Meadow now. So here I have this stamp set, or this stamp is just an outline. Here I'm going to be using this stamp to fill in the solid parts of the leaves. And when you do this, you want to just carefully hover over the stamped image with the stamp in your hand so that you can match up the edges. And when you're doing this, please note that it's best to look straight over your stamped image and straight over the stamp you're putting down to see, what do I say? To get the best view. Okay, to get the best view. When you're looking at it from an angle, it's much harder to match up those shapes. Next, I'm going to be filling in the flowers with Cajun Craze. Again, I want to be looking over the stamped image and over my block. Hopefully I'm not getting my head in the way of the camera. I'm trying not to. And I'm just going to keep it real close to my cardstock and just move it slightly till I think I have it in place. And if you're off a tiny bit, it's okay, but that looks pretty good. Next, I'm using my Mango Melody for these berries. And I want to give you a tip here. This one stamp is going to fill in all these other images that are not stamped yet, that have no color yet. But I'm thinking this little part and the leaf right under the buds, I'm thinking should be green. So what I've done, and this is a good tip to know, what I've done is inked up the entire stamp with my Mango Melody. And it's in these areas that I want to fill in with Mossy Meadow. So I'm using just a plain blender pen, and I'm going over those 4 small areas just to pick up the ink in those 4 areas. And then I'm going to go back over those areas, filling them in with Mossy Meadow. And I'm using my Stampin' Right marker to do that. Okay, the regular Stampin' Right markers. This does not work with the Stampin' Blends alcohol markers because the alcohol in the markers dries too fast. So you'll definitely want to use your Stampin' Right markers for that. And then I'm going to just carefully again hover over those spaces with my inked up stamp, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so now you see I have the green in the space where I wanted it, and I've got the darker berries. Oh, I guess I missed a leafy part there. I'm just going to go over that with my Stampin' Right marker. Probably if I left it alone, most people wouldn't even notice, but since I noticed, I'll go over it. All right, so that's a tip on one way you can ink up your whole stamp, but then remove just part of the ink, or a little bit of the ink, so that you can fill in with a second color using your Stampin' Right markers. Okay, now I'm ready to put the, oops, I forgot one thing. I want to stamp the center of that flower. And I'm stamping it. This is the teeniest, tiniest little stamp, isn't it? And I'm going to stamp it with Early Espresso. So let's now put our card together. I'm going to start with the largest piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock and with that strip. And remember, I said it was 1.5 by 4.25 inches, and I scored it 1.25 inches. That 1.25 inch, that small part, is going to be glued down to the Mossy Meadow base. For this, you do want to use a strong adhesive, like the multi-purpose glue, the Stampin' Seal Plus, or even our tear and tape. Just want to make sure it's good and strong. We're going to give that a few seconds to dry. And then I'm going to adhere this piece of Designer Series paper. This is from the A Wash In Beauty Designer Series paper pack. And it measures 5.25 by 4 inches. Next, I'm going to adhere my stamped cardstock to that last piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock. So again, the sizes here are 4.5 by 3.25, and then the Mossy Meadow is 4.75 by 3.5. And now I want to oops. No, that's correct. Now I want to adhere this to that front flap. When you're doing this, put your adhesive only on the strip, only on the front flap, okay? Do not put it on here. It's too risky. I should erase that. It's too risky of getting adhesive where you don't need it on this large piece. I'll be covering this up anyways, but I just want to make sure that depending on which color you would use, it may not, this might affect, having written on there might have affected that other piece. Like if I had put it through, or put the, what am I saying? If I had left the black writing there and put a piece of lighter cardstock over it, I just don't want to take the chance of it showing. So when you're applying your adhesive here, just make sure to not take your adhesive all the way to the left edge, because if you do it, you'll have a sticky gummy mess because this top layer does not go all the way to the edge. You're going to set this down and just make sure it's centered there. I'm going to press it down and give it a few seconds to dry, because I don't want it sliding around. So this is our card so far. Okay, looks pretty good, doesn't it? There's a couple things though that I'm not liking here. I don't want this strip to be showing on the inside. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of Designer Series paper to fit in there so that it has the same size border around it as the larger piece of DSP. So this small piece of DSP measures 4.5 by 3.25 inches. still see a little bit of that writing there. Let me get that off. That's better. Now, I also want my Very Vanilla in the middle or on the inside of the card so that I have a place to write. However, I want to be sure that it's not sticking out at all when I close my card. So here's a trick to make sure that happens. I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on the back side of this. I typically, if you've been with me a long time, you know that I typically don't write the measurements on the back of the pieces. I usually have a cheat sheet hanging up in front of me, and today I thought, oh, I'll try something different. And I can tell already I don't like it. So I'll just go back to my usual cheat sheet way. Because I thought, well, maybe this way you can see it too and whatever. So I put my adhesive on the back of this piece. I'm laying the front side face to face with that left part of the card. And I just want to make sure that all of the edges, left, right, top, bottom, are all matched up with the layers on the front. Then I'm just going to hold it in place, and I'm simply going to flip this over and press it down. Erase some more of my pencil marks. And then I have a really nice card here. Okay, so what do you think? Looks pretty good, huh? I'm gonna crease this with my bone folder. Now I want to finish off the card front. Since we're celebrating Emily's birthday tomorrow, I decided to make a birthday card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this for a very happy birthday. I'm stamping it in Cajun Craze ink on crumb cake cardstock. And then I'm going to punch it with my double oval punch. Then I'll adhere it to the card front with some dimensional pieces, using up the last on this sheet. And I'm going to put it in this lower left corner. Then I think I will add a bow. I'm just using some linen thread. Linen thread is definitely a staple in my Stampin' Piece studio. I love using this. I don't know why. It's just easy. It adds a little bit of character. It's inexpensive. That's another plus. Now, when I'm adhering bows, I usually put a mini glue dot behind the knot, but a mini glue dot is even too large for this tiny little linen thread knot. So what I like to do is just put a dot of the multi-purpose glue. I place the knot of the bow right on top of that glue, and then I place a clear block on top of it. That holds that little knot in place. I'm not getting icky and sticky from it, and it'll just take a few seconds to dry. So while that's drying, I'm going to pull my sample back in here, and I'm going to pull out my embellishments. I mentioned earlier that the embellishment that comes with the texture sheet cards online class is the brushed metallic dots. So that's what we're using today. So let's see. There's 3 shades, a gold, a rose gold, and then just kind of a brassy metallic. So any thoughts on which one you would like to see here? I think any of them would work well, but what would be your preference? Would you go with the bright gold, rose gold, or metallic brass? Brushed metallic brass, we'll call it. Joyce Letterby, you are quick. She says go with the rose gold. So I'm going to take her advice and do exactly that. Not sure I want to use that large one. Actually, maybe I would move that one and put the large one up here, and then a smaller one over here. All right, what do you think? Okay, first couple of people said the rose and then the metallic brass. So how about on this card, we try it with the brass. And I'm actually going to change up the placement of them as well. All right, so there we used 2 different colors of the metallic, brushed metallic dots, and we've changed up where they lie a little bit as well. And as you can see, they both work really, really well. I feel like my camera's moving on me here. They both work really, really well. I think any 3 of those colors would be a great choice. What do you think? It's a pretty fall card, isn't it? I like the colors I chose, the Cajun Craze, Mango Melody, and Mossy Meadow. The DSP I chose is just a nice kind of subtle background. It's not so busy that it takes away from the focal point of the card, which is the stamping. All right, who is interested in being in the drawing to receive the card I made today? Anybody? Okay, if you are interested in possibly winning the card I made in today's Facebook Live, please type in the comments now, beautifully happy, beautifully happy. And a reminder, Beautifully Happy is not yet available to customers. Only demonstrators who went to Onstage were able to purchase it this week. Even other demonstrators who didn't attend need to wait till December 1st for the regular pre-order of our new catalogs, and then it will be available to customers early January. So please don't look for it in my online store or in any of the catalogs just yet. Look for it in January. And a reminder, it is a stamp set that you can get free with a $100 purchase during Celebration January and February of next year. It seems strange that we are so close, 6 weeks away from a new year? Yeah, nuts. This year just flew by. Alrighty, that's it for me today. I will be back on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time for some more creative inspiration. And in the meantime, a friendly reminder that today, Friday, November 18th, is the very last day for our seasonal sale. Okay, very last day. All right. So through today, midnight Mountain Time, November 18th, you can get these products from the annual catalog at a discount price. 10% off punches, 15% off stamp sets, 20% off dies, 20% off embossing folders, and 20% off the non-specialty designer series paper. Non-specialty means, or I'll say it this way, the specialty ones will say specialty in their description. They will say specialty designer series paper. You want it without the word specialty in there. Specialty is more like the papers that have flocking or shiny metallics, that sort of thing, okay? If I can help you place your seasonal sale order, just let me know. Otherwise, I want to say have a great weekend. And when you see me on Monday, well, as after tomorrow, I don't think you'll see me till Monday though, Facebook Live. But tomorrow my baby turns 26. Now, how is that even possible? My girls are 26 and 31. Crazy, right? But I'm so proud of them. They're great kids and just really good people. I'm very, very proud of them. Good kids, good people. So I feel like I've done a good job. Might not have been perfect, but I worked hard at being a good mom, and I am enjoying seeing the benefits of that. Have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you on Monday, and take care and happy stamping.